Welcome. In front of me is a Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 FE, as you can clearly see, and it's a brand new tablet from Samsung, which is the more budget-oriented version of the S9s. And today I'm gonna go over the unboxing of it along with a quick look at it. Now, I'll be completely honest, I already recorded this, and this is my second attempt, so bear with me. This won't be necessarily a full brand new unboxing, as I have already unpacked it myself and just the card ran out of space. So this is the second attempt at it. Anyway, so jumping straight into it, I'm just gonna pop it straight open. The device will be a little bit smudged up, don't worry, that's not how it arrived. It was pristine. So let's get it out of the packaging. And yep, it's still on, so that's great. I'm gonna set it to the side for now. Now we also have a pen that comes included with the device. And apart from that, we also have a charging cable, which comes included in the box. Now, what doesn't come included in the box is a charger, but because this device is, now, I want to say budget, but it's not really cheap. So I'm not exactly sure how to feel about this, but compared to the typical S9, it's significantly cheaper. I would still like to see a charger, because this tablet does support 45 watts of charging. So a 45-watt charger would have been nice. That comes included with the device. Otherwise, if you want to charge this Bohemian 8000 milliamp hour battery with some crappy charger, good luck with that. That's gonna take you an entire night probably to get it charged. Now, apart from that, we also have a little paperwork in here, so I'm just gonna completely ignore that. So let's yeet that to the side and bring the tablet into view. So let's talk about the display right here, which is going to be the first downgrade over the S9, the default S9 that you can purchase. That came out, what is it, like a half a year ago, I believe. So, and here we get an 11-inch display with a 1600 by 2560 resolution. Actually, no, my bad, that's a different one. That was the S9, not FE. It's a 10.9 inch, 1440 by 2304. Roughly almost the exact same resolution. It just varies, just slightly lower resolution than the other one. Great, thanks Samsung for turning off for no reason. Now where it starts to fall apart, besides the resolution here is fine. Honestly, I would prefer to have a 1080p resolution, but an AMOLED display. But no, we get a higher resolution that is redundant on such a small display, and we get an LCD IPS display, and instead of running at 120 at least, no, it's running at 90, because we're budget cutting. And we're budget cutting below $500 range, because that's what I would expect at a $300 and maybe $50 device, an LCD IPS display. I would also expect that to be 1080p, but this one has a higher resolution. But with that being said, that resolution goes completely missed on this tiny little display, considering you won't really see much of a difference between 1080p and 1440p unless you're looking really close at it. So therefore, I consider this to be a useless addition to the device. I'm assuming it was the least expensive variant, that's why they went with it, and it just happens to be absolutely effing useless to us as a consumer. Now, what wouldn't have been useless would be a AMOLED or OLED display on here, or 120 Hz refresh rate, but that's not what we got. Samsung doesn't deliver you useful features, they just deliver you features. Now, continuing with the display, this is a 16 by 10 aspect ratio display, so it's a little bit taller compared to the typical monitors. And it's boasting about 250 pixels per inch based on the resolution, so it's okay. And it has also about an 81% screen to body ratio. So that's basically everything that I can tell about the display. And to define it in a single word, it's going to be mediocre. That's as best as I can describe it. Now, let's flip it over to the back, where we have a camera, a single one, which is fine, and that is a 8 megapixel camera that can record videos at 4K 30 frames or 1080p 30. And then at the front we have another selfie cam, if we can call that selfie. If you ever take selfies with a tablet, I think you need to get help, but okay. Now, it is so 8 megapixel wide sensor. Actually, no, my bad. 12 megapixel ultra wide. Still looking at the back one. So yeah, 12 megapixel ultra wide. And that's the two cameras that we have on here. Right, there we go, I can flip it. So, continuing on into the internals of this device. So, like I mentioned before, we have 8000 mAh battery and a decent charging speed of 45 watts, quick delivery 2.0. So, charging speed would be great. I mean, not would be, but is great. The fact that we don't have a charger, that's the shitty part. And continuing with the internals, we, unlike the S9, on here we get a Exynos 1380 processor. Now, I will admit I have no idea how powerful this processor is, but based on the price difference, I would assume it's nowhere near as good as the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 that comes on the S9 and all the other S9 series tablets. Well, apart from the FE, obviously. So that is, without a doubt, I don't even need to check, going to be a downgrade in speed. And additionally, I personally don't really like Exynos. I have a bad, let's call it a PTSD from Samsung just shafting all Europeans with their Exynos garbage. When US was getting nice Snapdragons that were always outperforming the Exynos for the same price, Europeans were getting the Exynos instead of the Snapdragon, getting effed without lube. And obviously, I don't like to pay the same amount as someone who's getting a better device than I am. It just kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and that's basically what Samsung was doing, and therefore I have disdain, an absolute hatred towards Exynos. I hate seeing the word Exynos on anything that I have in front of me, because their garbage, like push of their shitty processors onto devices that basically made Europeans a beta tester of their shit processor was absolutely annoying. Their processor was always slower, ran hotter, and was also less power efficient. So yeah, no thanks, I never wanted it, but I just never had the option to go for the Snapdragon version like the US had. So I hate the fact that this one comes with an Exynos. So that being said, if you don't like Exynos, too bad, because these ones come with it. Now, that being said, I think Europeans will also get the Exynos, or not Europeans, US will also get the Exynos version of the FE version of this tablet. So if you want specifically Snapdragon, then just the S9, the non-FE versions, are the ones that you might be interested in. Okay, now let's now talk about the storage right here. So there is only two versions of this device. There is the 128 gigabytes of storage with 6 gigabytes of RAM and 256 with 8 gigabytes of RAM. And we also have a dedicated storage expansion with an SD card built in here, which is surprising because this is Samsung. So that's obviously pretty good. If you need more than 128 gigs of storage, you can just pop in an SD card and you're good to go. Now, that being said, what you should pay more attention to would be the amount of RAM. So if you were like a heavy multitasker, you have like split screen, pop-up windows and all that stuff open on your tablet at a given moment, you might be more interested in paying more and getting the 8 gigabyte RAM over the 6. But if you're just a casual like web browser or Netflix watcher, 6 gigs, you should have no problem. Even for gaming, this shouldn't really pose any problems. It's just more, you might be interested in the 8 one when you're heavily into multitasking on your device. Okay, so with that being said, anything else to mention? There is one more thing that I want to mention. This device is running on Android 13 right now and comes with a One UI 5.1 right now, but it will get an Android 14 update. That's basically without a doubt. And Samsung did start rolling out One UI 6.0, which is right now accessible in the beta version for the Fold 4s and S23 Ultras, as far as I'm aware. So I haven't gotten it on my device just yet, but it technically should fall under that, the eligibility for beta. Now, that being said, this device will most certainly get this update, the One UI 6.1, once it, or 6.0, sorry, once it rolls out globally to basically every device. I mean, it's going to be rolled out steadily to like each device individually once it's actually ready. Right now it's in a beta state, but rest be assured you will get it on this device. So if you're interested in that, having maybe a little bit more features that come with the 6.0 One UI, you will be getting that here as well. Now, one thing that I didn't mention just yet, the S9, the default S9 tablets came with an under-display fingerprint sensor, which is something that you're not going to be getting right here. We are looking at a side-mounted power button fingerprint sensor, if the camera can keep the focus on here. So there we go, you can see it right here. So that's another like place where they cut costs. Now, to mention and go over all the differences that differ between the FE and the non-FE version of this tablet, just so you can see what you're missing out in terms of like price. So this device starting off comes at 530 euros, give or take, while the S9, the default one that came out like half a year ago, is costing closer to $800 or euros. So this is significantly lower in price, so something to keep in mind. And the differences between them has a lower screen resolution, slower screen being at 90 instead of 120, has a crappier display type being an LCD IPS instead of the AMOLED. It has a slower processor, less RAM. In terms of storage, it's the same. In terms of storage type, it's slower. No, actually, never mind. It doesn't even mention what storage type we have right here. It has a smaller battery cell in here, being at 8000 compared to the 8400 that the non-FE comes with. In terms of charging speed, it's about the same. And yeah, it's primarily the differences between them. So the thing that you get to sacrifice between these devices is, number one, the display, which is quite odd considering Samsung is basically a leader in terms of displays, and yet they decided to give you a crappy experience equivalent to a $350 tablet from like Xiaomi for $500. So that's a nice middle finger from them. I mean, it's Samsung, so I guess I shouldn't be really surprised. They tend to do that quite often. And the processor, obviously, it's Exynos, their processor. So not only is this device still relatively expensive, I would say, it comes with a little bit underwhelming features, let's call it. And I'm gonna check out something right now, so bear with me. I want to see how much like a Xiaomi tablet will cost. Now, I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what Xiaomi tablets we have right here, but I'm looking for something that would be respectable. Let's call it that. So let's see this. So I'm looking right now at Xiaomi Pad 6. So that's the newest one from them. It comes with a Snapdragon 870 at a cheaper price tag. And let's bear with me while I check out the last thing. So Snapdragon 8 was 860, right? No, 870, my bad. So 1380. So I'm looking right now at a comparison between these two processors, just so I can see which one is better. Obviously, I'm expecting that the Snapdragon will be better, and that is like, yeah, there's no competition. Snapdragon is just better. The only place where it's not better, it's in battery life, just lagging a little bit behind, but everything else it's significantly better. And the metrics that I'm getting from for these is from nanoreview.net, so they do have like a processor comparison, and it's basically comparing these two, but in general it's about close to 40% better than the Exynos, which is hilarious considering the Xiaomi Xiaomi Pad 6 costs less. So not only does it cost less, it's better than this. Now, that being said, if you're looking for a device strictly for just like tablet purposes, just to like browse web, maybe play some games on this and whatnot, then I highly recommend checking out the Xiaomi Pad 6. They tend to just make better value products that are just faster than what Samsung will, because like Samsung likes to show you a middle finger and consider you to be a dumb customer that will spend the money on their tablet just because it's a Samsung, just like every Apple user will on an Apple. So I highly urge you to basically kind of vote with your wallet and stay away from this, just because you're not getting the best value for your money right here. Samsung could have easily included better display right here and better processor on here, but they chose not to. And that being said, it wouldn't even cost them that much considering they're the manufacturers of these displays and processors. They could have made it better, but they chose not to. So that being said, Xiaomi needs to buy displays most likely from Samsung, as one of the two companies that really offer decent displays. So I'm assuming it's still running on a Samsung display, and yet it costs less and is significantly better than this. So that's what I recommend checking out. Now, that recommendation being said, I don't know if Xiaomi Pad 6 supports pen. This device comes with a pen straight out of the box. I don't think, if I remember correctly, Xiaomi Pad didn't come with any pen, and I don't even know if it supports a pen. So if that is something that you are interested in, for instance, drawing on your tablet, just artistic purposes with the device, then that is something that I urge you to check out before you make this decision between like the performance better device over this one, because this one does come with a pen included and obviously it works good. So that is one of the better selling points for this device, which is pen support that is decent. But that is the only thing that really sets it apart from a significantly better device. So a pen. So anyway, with that being said, the best I can describe this device, it is underwhelming. That's the single word that can be used for most of the devices, and that opinion is based between performance, specs, and the price that it comes at. They're always underwhelming. That's my general consensus for all Samsung devices, and here it's again the same thing. Samsung is just trying to milk their customers for every single penny that they have with a device that isn't worth the money. It shouldn't be as expensive as it is, in my opinion. So that's basically it. Anyway, with that being said, hopefully you found this video helpful, and if you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.